This video is going to be on the questions where you're expected to form and then solve equations, okay? So before you watch this video, I suggest that you just clue yourself up on solving equations, have a little look at the video on that, and when you're feeling confident on solving equations, come back to this video and look at the forming, then solving questions. Okay, so the first type of question that could come up is a worded version. So on the left here, I have an example where it says that John is twice as old as Mary. Mary is 6 years older than Kevin. And then it's asking me, if Kevin is P years old, write an expression for how old John is. Well, what I need to do is take this in stages. And first it's telling me that Kevin is P years old and Mary is 6 years older than Kevin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find an expression for Mary, which is going to be P plus 6, because Mary is 6 years older than Kevin. The next part tells me that John is twice as old as Mary. So to get an expression for John, which the question's asking for, okay, I need to multiply the whole of Mary's expression by 2. Now to show I'm multiplying the whole thing, P plus 6 by 2, I need to put brackets around it. So I've got an expression for John here, which is 2 lots of P plus 6. Now the second question is saying that if John is 26 years old, calculate how old Kevin is. Now I could do this using function machines, but the title of this video is forming and solving equations, so I'm going to use equations to solve this. So I know that algebraically John's age is 2 lots of P plus 6. I just worked this out in the last question. Now I'm told some new information that John is also 26 years old. So to show that something is the same as, I'm going to use these symbols equals. And I know that it equals 26. So now you can see that I've formed an equation. And I'm going to quickly solve this. This is an equation with brackets. So I need to expand the brackets first. I get 2p plus 12 equals 26. Put my 2 lines down. Minus 12 to both sides. I end up with 2p on the left and 14 on the right. Divide by 2. I get 1p on the left equals 7. So P, which is Kevin's age, is 7. Okay, so I've got a question here on the right. I would like you to try and form an equation, okay, and then solve that equation to try and get the answer. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at that. What you needed to do was just to start off by giving Julia's number a letter. And I'm going to say Julia's number is the letter N for number. Okay, well, Julia thinks of a number and then she divides it by 3. So that's going to be N divided by 3. She then adds 5 and the result is 7. So that equals 7. So there's my equation. I can now go back and find out what number Julia was thinking of. So I'm going to drop my 2 lines. I'm going to get rid of that plus 5 by minusing 5. I get N over 3 equals 2. Then times by 3. And I get N equals 6. So the number Julia was thinking of was 6. Okay, so the next type of question they could ask you to form an equation from are questions based on geometric properties. So this could be to do with angles in shapes, or could be to do with lengths and perimeters. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is to pause the video and see if you can form some equations using these geometric properties. Now I'm going to give you a little hint. On the left, what you need to think about is what do all of the angles in a 4-sided shape equal? Okay, that might help you to form an equation on the left here. So on the right here we have an isosceles triangle. You need to remember what the property of the sides of an isosceles triangle are. Okay, so pause the video and have a go, see how you do. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through these 2 questions and see how you did. So first off, on the left, We have a four-sided shape here, and hopefully you remembered that four-sided shapes, angles, add up to 360. So I'm going to add up all the angles, all of the algebra, and know that that equals 360. So starting on the left, I have x plus 15 plus 4x plus 30 plus 5x minus 25 plus 2x plus 40, and I know that this equals 360. Now that on the left hand side of the equals is a bit of a mess, so I'm going to tidy this up. X plus 4x is 5x, plus another 5x is 10x, plus another 2x is 12x. Doing the same thing with the numbers, I've got 15 plus 30 is 45, minus 25 is 20, plus 40 is 60, and that still equals 360. Okay, so now I'm going to put my two lines down and solve this equation. So I'm going to minus 60 to both sides. I get 12x equals 300. Dividing by 12, I get x equals 25. Now the question is not actually asking me to find the size of x. It's actually asking me to calculate the size of the largest angle. Now that means I need to calculate all the angles in the diagram. So I'm going to start with this one on the left, and I know that x is 25, so 25 plus 15 is 40. This one at the top here, I've got 4 lots of x, so 4 lots of 25, which is 100, plus 30 is 130. This one on the right here, I've got 5 lots of 25, which is 125. Take away 25 is 100. And the one down the bottom, I've got 2 lots of 25, which is 50, plus 40 is 90 degrees. So here I can see that the biggest angles is 130 degrees. Okay, so this question on the right here, you needed to remember that the property of an isosceles triangle meant that the two sides were equal. So I've got here 5x minus 12 equaling 2x plus 6. And if you remember, when solving equations with x's on both sides, we need to get all of the numbers across to the one side and all of the letters across to the other. So I'm going to drop my two lines down, and I'm going to start by getting all my numbers across to the right hand side. So I'm going to plus 12 to both sides. That gives me 5x on the left, 2x stays on the right, 6 plus 12 is 18. I'm now going to take away 2x from that right hand side, take away 2x from the right hand side, and I get 3x on the left, 2x vanishes, and 18 on the right. So now that I've got all of the numbers on the right and all of the letters on the left, all I need to do is divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 6. So again, like the last example, the question's not actually asking me to find out the value of x, it's asking for the perimeter. So what I need to do is I need to substitute 6 in for x, and I need to find the size of each of these lengths. So starting off with 5x minus 12, 5 times 6 is 30, minus 12 is 18. The next one, 2x plus 6, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 6 is also 18, which we hope would be the case because it's an isosceles triangle. And lastly, 2x, 2 times 6 is 12. So to find the perimeter, I need to do 18 plus 18 plus 12, which is 48. Okay, so this last section, we're going to look at how we can use solving equations to reverse the effects of formula. Okay, this comes up quite a lot when it comes to volume and can be very useful for you in your science exam. Okay, the only thing about this is that there might be a lot of simplifying to do, but the equations actually end up to be quite easy at the end. So the question here is telling me that the volume of the cuboid and the cylinder are the same. So I need to know what the value of x is, and I want to give my answer in terms of pi. So if you're not sure in any of these terms, first off, you might want to have a little look at the circles video. Okay, that might help you to understand what it means by in terms of pi. And also, if you're not sure about how to find volume, again, you could have a little look at that video as well before you come back to this. Okay, so I want to find the volume of the cuboid and the cylinder. Now, if you notice, the cuboid, I know 2 of the lengths, but I don't know this value x. Whereas the cylinder, I know all the lengths, so I can calculate the volume of the cylinder. So the volume of the cylinder, if you remember, has a formula, which is pi r squared h. Now, r in this case is 5, so I'm going to have 5 squared, multiply it by h, which is the height, which is 12. That's going to be multiplied by pi. Now, I want to give my answer in terms of pi, so I need to do 5 squared, which is 25, times by 12, which is 300 pi. So I know the volume of the cylinder is 300 pi, which means that the cuboid's volume must also be 300 pi. So I've got 300 pi equaling the volume of my cuboid. Now, to find the volume of the cuboid, I need to do 5 times 4 times x. Simplifying this up a little bit, I've got 30 pi equaling 5 times 4, which is 20x. So you can see here that my formula equation is only one step. All I need to do is drop my lines down and divide both sides by 20. So 300 pi divided by 20 is 15 pi. 20x divided by 20 is just x, so x is 15 pi in terms of pi. Okay, so hopefully that video has helped you when it comes to forming and solving equations. Like I said, if there are any terms here that you're not sure on, I recommend that you look at the solving equations video, the volume video, and the circles video. Okay. If you're clued up on all of those, have a go at some of the practice exam questions, and good luck.